Hey everybody, before we get started, I just remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Ahago Comics and Drago66. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can access to episodes early in a downloadable audio format. You can listen to them live, like at least 2 people are doing right now. Hey! And it will really help us out. Thanks for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
That's right, everybody. It's time once again for Let's Talk FGO. I am one of your hosts, Defender of Justice, Magical Omega.
Oh my god.
With me, as always, is Defeater of Evil, Magical Lucky. Fuck yeah, I went there. What the fuck do you think we're doing?
I know, but if you actually had told me before, I would have actually come up with a cool catchphrase or something. Now I'm just kind of sitting here in a fucking pretty dress, completely shell-shocked. What the
Also,
fuck?
the audience totally couldn't see, but I definitely did the peace sign wink thing. You'll have to take my word for it. Listen.
I was not ready for this.
I'm a man of style. Well, you better be ready, because you gotta read the next part.
Everyone, I hope you are enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Everyone Loves a Maho Shoujo. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should go eat a volcanic deity.
I wonder where that comes from. So now we ask the most important question every week. Where the fuck is Ron?
Oh my fucking god.
And the answer to that is, well, if he don't show up real soon, we're gonna get to work without him.
We're literally trying to play a tabletop, and we're waiting on this guy to show up so we can get to it. And he's just like, no, I don't care. Floating off in Cali, doing Cali things. Fucking Cali boy.
We could jiggle him a little bit more directly, but yeah, no. We'll whatever. Again, we just talked about how we off mics to encourage, well, not off mic, but off recording, to encourage people to possibly support us at Patreon so you can listen to episodes early. We talked about how we might want to get Ron in on What's Up just because we have a history of deep conversations with him, but that would require us to physically have a Ron. Anyway, yes, we're super magical girl today. We're a little bit summer, a little bit magical girl. I hope you guys are enjoying the visually spiced version. Super spicy.
I got some decent feedback on that. A little bit of varied feedback.
No, which is good. It's, I mean, if everybody has a glowing recommendation, that's not really productive.
Yeah.
Because, let's be real, it's not perfect.
One person said they didn't like the visuals. One person said, they thought the BGM was too loud. Another one said that the Summer Part 2 music was kind of repetitive. And I agree with the Summer Part 2, because I was listening to it, I'm like, God, when is this going to be over? It does not make me think of anything happy or nice. Yeah,
no, I think what we might... Obviously, what you, Editor Lucky, might do in future is maybe adjust the audio balance down just a tiny bit and stick to more gentle and nice music. And if people have directly asked us for more on-point visuals. That is a thing we have gotten multiple times over our year-long history of the show.
Oh yeah, and for the most part, people seem to dig in the visuals. Unfortunately, I don't know how much I'll be able to keep them up, because I said I'm trying to churn this out in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
I think last week it was what, 2 days behind?
It was a couple days, yeah.
Yeah. And personally, I don't like that. I kind of want to try and get fast enough that I can churn it out, get it up. Oh, here's the main problem. Now I remember why it was 2 days, because last week I had got everything finished. I had set it to render in the rendering software, and when I had tried to move it over to YouTube to upload it, for some odd reason the whole file with all the editing had just fucking vanished, gone. I clicked on it to try and move it, just disappeared, deleted, erased. It was not in a recycling bin, it was not moved to another folder, it was just fucking gone, and I lost my fucking shit for a bit and had to re-render it, which then put it over the time it'd take. I can get it up to the YouTube so that Omega can write everything done in the morning.
So I can
so just
write the descriptions, I can schedule it. We do early releases for Patreons as well. So there's a whole system. There's a method to our madness, guys. And
that 3 hours, because it was on the Sunday, because I had to go to sleep because
for instance, I'm pretty sure that you guys will notice that What's Up is probably a day behind, just because it was also super fucking long, and even though there's almost no visual editing in that, it takes forever to render. I started working on that right away after we finished it. It was a little late, and it was 2.5 hours, so yeah, no, it had to be delayed a day because it physically wasn't done.
And
It was
really
already
like-
after midnight, so it was already the next day. The audio
We
went up
really
right
like
away for
Metal Gear.
patrons. Once again, I play up a shilly character for the show. I don't like to feel like I'm trying to, get you out of your money. But honestly, like if you really want to make sure you get shows promptly right away, it's our lowest level, our $1 a month package to get access to the audio downloads like right away. That is not just because it's in downloadable format. It's also literally I finish the audio recording, I make a thumbnail. Except for today, I already made the thumbnail. I got ahead of myself. Yay. And then I slap it up on Patreon, and it's up within hours of us finishing her, because it's a fuck ton faster to export out of Audacity than it is to render a video. But that's your technical news for today. So, though, it's funny. I was thinking about saying that, oh, well, we're gonna have a light week this week, so Editor Lucky can do work faster. But then I'm looking at our notes and like, we're up to 6 pages. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily shorter for Editor Lucky, but who knows?
Well, as I said, actually, it's probably not gonna be because we don't have Summer Part 2, so I don't have to try and pull screen grabs of just random stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, this should actually be a little bit easier than last week, especially because I don't know some sections I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna try and wing it.
Well, I'll say this on air, but I've said this off air, right? Like, if there's no visual cue to put in, just leave it. Don't make shit up to make yourself more work. Leave it.
See, that's the weird thing is those I don't feel completely right about having these big long stretches, because if there's only visual cues for 3-4 minutes and then 40 minutes of nothing, is there really any point to watching keeping your eye on it for those 4 minutes just in case something shows up? It's a weird feeling.
That's fair, but
for me.
I mean that's like dead air in the audio recording is well, if you're gonna go to this trouble visual, you don't want dead stuff. But at the same time, I'm of the opinion don't make extra work for yourself. If you can think of something creative or funny to do in there.
Oh, that's what I'm trying. And that's what I'm trying to put in more editor lucky commentary, which is me just cracking, being cynical.
Well, you do what every editor with a text window does is you slip in your comments.
Yeah, I was talking shit about Omega and sprite sheets, and I was like, no, this is a horrible idea. I tried to combine the words terrible and how does my brain even work? I don't know.
Let's move into our next segment with everybody's favorite Kohai. And fuck you, I will keep saying that MASH is our favorite Kohai. We'll talk about BB later. I'm gonna hit the button now.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for Protips. We've got a few for you today.
I'll start it off. So, it never hurts to plan ahead. Store up them embers as well as scale gems for welfares and event servants, so you can use them to their best effect as quick as possible. So, remember, everyone in playing the English version of the game, we have Clairvoyance EX, and as I said so far, we have probably a 95% accuracy rate for sticking to what JP is doing. They might have switched a few things around, changed here and there, but I think we've pretty much still gotten almost every event in order.
Anything that's an actual event, we've gotten in a timely manner.
So, right now, before the Prisma collab shows up, it'd be a good chance to stock up on maybe Archer, skill gems, or maybe Rider, or maybe something you're trying to get pull for in the gacha.
And also, if you already have event servants, now's the perfect time to be yeah, I'm ready to stock those up. But we've said that before. In this case, it's be prepared, and we'll talk a little bit about maybe why you want to specifically be prepared for some specific servants later when we actually do our deep dive pregame on Prisma, because yes, we're going to do that this week.
Yeah, we are. I'm moving into the second one here. So this one's kind of more of a pet peeve of mine, because as I say, even the servants I don't particularly use or have a great deal of affection for, I still like. And you have to remember there are very few actually bad servants. And even those do okay depending on the role or niche. Don't call a servant a bad or poor choice, more refer them to them as suboptimal. There are better choices, but you gotta work with what you got. Especially when you're talking to other people. This is one of my big pet peeves. Super bad. I really don't like it when people start trash talk because they don't fit their whatever perceive. pre-existing role we want them to fit into. Like, don't hurt like your servants or their master's feelings. Just don't.
And actually, this was relevant because we were talking about. Because I almost always when I write pre-game notes, I'm like, hey, community, if you got any thoughts on this, hit me up. So we were talking a little bit about Prisma strats, and the suboptimal thing, I think, very much came up during that conversation, because technically, like, what you might think is usually as really great servants are technically suboptimal in this event because maybe they're focused on the wrong card type, or obviously male servants don't get the effect bonus from CEs, so you're trying to do a raid with just their naked stats, basically. So, like, okay, so Coup Alter's really good all the time, but with damage bonuses, is there not a more optimal choice than him? Maybe. And it's probable. And we'll talk a little bit about that later when we talk strategy and talk about the event. So yeah, no, that's definitely like a thing that we like to say. And honestly, whenever I see a servant who has a bad kit, I don't be like, oh, this unit's so trash. I feel bad for them. Like, when we talk about Phantom, I'm like, I feel kind of bad that his niche he does not do good at because he's built around stuns, but he has exactly one charm and it's got a fucking forever cooldown. I'm like, oh, that's sad for him. That his role is so limited by his poor design. DW, please rank up quest. Just put charm on his NP or something. I don't know. Give him more charms. He wants to charm, let him charm stuff. But yeah. So that's a solid point we'd like to raise. Also, here's our third point. This was just another thing I picked up and I decided it might be a good tip to bring up. If you want to farm FP before an event or a banner because new CEs or rare servants, don't forget you can just hit up Fuyuki A, which I think is like the lowest AP cost in the game. Because FP is the same every time, guys. It depends on your pick of support and then what CEs you're using. So, like, you can totally farm FP super low cost if you want to like build up a couple extra. Really useful. All right. So let's move into records from the throne, our regular achievement topic. I'll start.
Happen. But you wrote the
pretty
first
simple.
One, so it's all on you, buddy.
Well, yeah, I wrote it first. I got Carmilla and Lancelot's Smiles Protected. That's the Saber Lancelot. I did Zergalat a long time ago. You can find that somewhere in the show. But yeah, no. Got them leveled up in prep for the event.
On my end, I was able to protect Summer, Marian Ann, as well as Nursery Rhyme and Helena. Smiles are protected. Like, it was literally like the moment I was like, oh shit, fucking the Prisma event's coming. I don't have like any of these servants. I smashed some apples. I think I've used like 10 apples getting them up.
I haven't used that many, but I've
right now I'm
because I'm working on Rhyme. I got her at max ascension, but I'm trying to push her up to like level 80. Yeah. So like I'm slowly working on that. I've spent a couple apples at it. I'm also waiting for no, it'll be random today, won't it? Shit.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck. Well, I'll focus on other games for a while then. But yeah, no. Or maybe I'll do the training grounds we're supposed to be doing.
Oh my gosh. Like, again, I'm telling people, like, I know I need to be on my skill gems. I know that I need to be working on them, but Jesus fucking Christ, it is so monotonous.
Oh yeah, no, like, I totally understand that. Like, I was doing caster gems earlier because Waver, and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. Even though I need blue gems, I'm doing like the 10, which can give blue or red gems, because it's just like, fuck, I have almost 140 AP, guys. I cannot do however many runs that is of 5. That's what, like, not 14.
Like, an RNG, like, will bite you in the ass. Like, oh my god, I think I did 5 runs of the 5 AP, trying to get some blue gems for Berserkers. I got like 3.
Yeah.
Total.
RNG can be very unkind.
So I'm like, no. Alright, Raiko, your mana burst is up to level 2, and I am fucking done. I'm done. I'm gonna go fucking farm a whole bunch of embers.
Yeah, no, like, that's why in fact, we can say that's why we say to buy skill gems in shops, because depending on what you're doing, farming the currency for that can be way less sanity crumbling than farming training grounds. And it's a much more targeted way to get the stuff you need. So don't forget to, when skill gems appear in a shop or in like a lotto, they're good. They're a very good thing. Cherish them. Because otherwise, gem hell. Nobody likes gem hell. Hey, speaking of gem hell, let's jump into skelograms.
Oh yeah.
Lucky, why don't you take this away?
So, over here on the English version, we have a training grounds update. with half AP running from 813 to 822. Basically, they're adding new materials from chapters 3 to 5 to the gears, shoes, tears, spirit roots, grease, shells, and homunculus babies. So if you are running a little low on any of those materials, use this time to farm those math and skill gems. And we're gonna switch over here to Japan, where we have the SabaFes Summer Pickup 3 running 816 to 829. It features SSR BB, SR Saber Mev, and MHXX on rotation until the end. This includes all new CEs and is probably, filling the Lightworks wallet right now.
Yeah.
An interesting note that has come out of this is a lot of people are using the card back art as the justification that the Moon Cancer is BB exclusives. But everyone, do remember this is still Fate we're talking about. The Avenger card art is supposed to harken to Angra, and the Assassin art is a generic Hassan, plus Lancer and Archer. We don't have a good track record for classes staying lit.
Like, I get the point that, it's Moon Cancer is literally the name that BB gave herself because she's an AI who grew in the moon cell like a cancer, but that really has not stopped things before, guys. Avenger was supposed to be Angra's special thing, and then we made more. And then, other stuff.
Real talk, I keep telling people, Stella, Corroded, Liz, and, Velber, those could totally be Moon Cancer.
Because, if you're but they can't be because they didn't grow like a cancer. And then that's when I'm Archer Lancer.
Actually, they kind of did.
I mean, they're computer viruses, so people are but that's not literally a cancer, because that's how BB describes herself, at which point, like I said, Lancer Archer. How many Lancers use lances again? Versus spears, because those aren't the same thing?
Hmm?
Oh, only 2?
Oh, Voice joined us. Oh,
yeah,
he's typing.
Listen. But yeah, no, so that's our little commentary on that subject. I feel like they will probably keep it relatively BB exclusive, but don't feel like they're gonna have to, okay? Like I said, this is Fate. They'll bend their own fucking rules whenever they feel like.
Whatever, they do. So we're gonna jump back over the ocean over here to Lingo's version, because we have Prisma Codes? I guess they translated it differently, which has been announced for 8/23 to 9/4. As always, we have the combined social media campaign for up to 3 Saint Quartz, with a whole bunch of other goodies, including QP, friend points, some embers, foes, no apples.
Let me... now, there was quite a bit of misinformation being spread around this, but as far as we can tell, there are no sources. Japan got nothing as a social media lead up to this event. I know a lot of people like to take shots at how the servers are handled, but as far as I can tell from listening to people who have been asking for sources, there's no actual source that Japan, they checked the Japanese Twitter for FGO during that time period. They checked all the wikis and everything. There was nothing. Alright, so let me look. Okay. So we're on Twitter alone, we're at over 10k, so we're not quite at the first... Actually, it's closer to 15, isn't it? Maybe more. It's no, it's more 12. But yeah, so we're not at the first milestone yet. But that's probably just from Twitter, but that doesn't include Facebook. We've done fairly good at all of them, so I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Also, technically, I'm pretty sure there's a misprint, because they say that they are 2-star foes, and they probably mean they're 3-star foes. That said, with the difference between, bronze and silver foes isn't huge. But yeah, no, I'm sure that's probably a typo. But anyway. Yeah. Also, there was a PV, which I'm sure Editor Lucky has either already put in or will put in soon.
I kind of wondering if I want to try and include audio for the PVs. I didn't do it for the last one because I felt like that would interfere with whatever we're talking about. Especially because you always do the thing where you, what is it? Reduce silence.
Yeah, I truncate silence because I hate dead air.
Yeah.
You can just add the gaps back in, Lucky. You really don't want to have to manually edit the gaps out. Trust me, before I realized that truncate silence was a tool, I tried to do that.
Truncate, that's the word. Truncate.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Fucking vocabulary.
Didn't come across. Yes. But anyway.
ここはどこ？ミユもクロもどこ行っちゃった？
I might do that then. I don't know.
We'll see.
This
Just
is
put
the
the
thing,
gap
like,
back in.
I feel like the audio and the music to the PvE is like really what sells it. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this before when we were talking about Summer 3, but the whole mood of the Summer 3 PV like completely like gave me like this kind of romantical, but like, you know, just seeing like the screens, it probably just be like, oh, it's fucking summer. Anyway, speaking of summer, let's move into Child Day of Free Talk.
All right. Welcome to Fun Things Omega Learned About Summer 2018.
I didn't learn shit because I haven't been paying attention to it.
So I learned some stuff, reading some translations and skimming some notes. So we'll start at the top. BB-8 Pele and Nyarlathotep, in case you didn't learn that yet. Also, she is organizing the festival. Dojin Circle Jolter is apparently made up of you, Jolter, Blackbeard, Robin, and Ushi. You don't.
Like, I can understand Jolter and Blackbeard. I do want to know why Robin and Ushi are in on this.
Because they are part of the starting group.
Yeah.
With you, because you all get on a plane and go to Hawaii. So that's you're with Robin, Ushi, Jolter, and Ibaraki. Ibaraki immediately fucks off to find Shuten. And that's just, but so that's who you get together, and then you almost immediately pick up Blackbeard when Jean Alter decides she needs to form a Dojin circle. Speaking of Jean Alter, her bond levels are tsundere. Some are cheap to get, others take a lot of BP. So like, I think her first and last bond level are super short, like under 10k bond points, but then she's got like a couple that are like 20-something bond points to level in her first 5. So yeah, no, like she's super sun, goes back and forth a lot.
That's one thing that kind of bugs me about bond levels is like once in a while, yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, I got it super quick. The rest of them are going to be like this. And then the next one's just like, well, prepare to stay here for a fucking eternity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think once you get past 5, they just go up like by a certain amount each time because there's rewards in them. Like everybody above at 3 stars or higher has a Saint Quartz in them, which is technically a premium currency. So I think that's just as part of the economy that's stretched out a little. But yeah, no. Supposedly the way it's supposed to work is like evil servants or servants that are hard to get along with have longer bond levels because it's harder to get close to them. You have to put more work in. But also, yeah, no, like, oops. Wow. My mic arm very lightly, but it reverberated a lot. Whoops. Yeah, there's a lot of sensitivity here. Also, yes, by the way, I have a new mic arm. It's stainless steel, not aluminum. So hopefully it's a lot tougher. But yeah. Apparently all of the servants except your party knew SabaFes, or ServaFes, I think is the usually accepted translation, because obviously the Saba is like how they translate it in Japanese. So yeah, they all knew it would be a thing, somehow.
Who knows, maybe they just have a connection to the Throne of Heroes, and the Throne of Heroes are like, oh yeah, this shit's happening.
The festival is open to children, so rated 18 is not allowed.
Real talk, you know that shit's going on. Like, have you seen some of these Dojin CEs? You see them, you're all like...
Well, I mean, that's an actual... Because apparently, much like builds for Summer 1, when you finish because your Dojins are the CEs, when you finish a CE, you're finishing the Dojin, so there's like a little cutscene. So apparently the one when you somehow accidentally make a Dojin about Kiara, everybody's like freaked out. It's not technically explicit, but everybody thinks it's dirty somehow. But yeah, so there's that. That's pretty fun. Osakabe Hime joins your team in a later loop. Maeve's work is
I'm actually kind of surprised that Osakabe Hime wasn't on grade up, because as far as Dojin artists, like, isn't that like one of the first people you would think of?
Probably.
I don't think she's had a rate up since Shimosa, has she?
Yeah, not since I think she came out on Halloween, but remember, she's permanent now.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's like Tammo. She was released in a Halloween as a temporarily limited and then came out fully later.
Oh, okay.
Which is great, because she's literally the second permanent 5-star assassin in the game. Thanks, guys. But anyway, so she joins your team in a later loop. Maeve's work is a Grevir Idol pamphlet, not a real Dojin. So for those who don't know, technically this refers to like originally it refers to a type of art, but in Japan it's basically just software modeling stuff. Nothing's explicit, but it's like vaguely, swimsuits and stuff like that. Think Sports Illustrated like swimsuit models or like Sears lingerie catalogs. Like, you know, dudes are buying it for a very specific reason, but technically it's not explicit. Yeah. So MHX is now MHXX is apparently MHX now with a day job as a time space cop. She hunts foreigners, and specifically she explicitly calls out that MHX, the original one, the assassin you can get, is her from 2 seasons ago. So, like, a couple years. Yeah.
Oh my
Also,
God.
by the way, that's why her boobs are probably bigger. If you're looking at the Final Ascension art, because she has grown a couple of years now. She's an adult with an office job now. I think she even calls herself an office lady. By the way, Universe, I'm calling you out. If you want to fucking bombard me with MHXX office lady art, please fucking do.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I know she's either a mecha reference or a swimsuit servant, but still, seriously, hit me up with that.
Ladies in suits are just amazing in general.
MHXX usually beats up Hokusai at the start of the loop, so after you bail the 2 of them out, they join your team also, which is kind of fun. Jean is working with Mary on a doujin about a dolphin, interestingly enough. She also eventually joins your team because BB is literally Lovecraftian Satan and fucking stuff up and down the time stream.
Lovecraftian volcanic Satan.
There's a lot of like stable time loop shenanigans going on that I'm not gonna like fully spoil, but it's very interesting to read about. Summer Artoria Alter is a waitress in this event, and apparently there's an extended sequence talking about the American culture of tipping.
Let's just harken back to good old Carnival Phantasm.
By the way, we actually know a decent number of our audience is not American. Lucky, do you want to explain tipping in the U.S. real quick?
Okay, so tipping has its origins like way back in the fucking Great Depression about basically people wanting to get a little bit more service, so they literally give their waitresses or whoever like a little bit of extra. And once businesses got wind of that, they started, you know, like charging, like taking those tips out of their pay because, you know, they're only supposed to be paid a certain amount. And unfortunately, this has just blown up like over several decades that now it's become almost a requirement.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a requirement, but it's like nearly a social obligation.
It's part of the social contract. Basically, now let's be fair. Depending on what state you're in, you have a minimum. There's a minimum wage law. Some of those are okay. Some of them are not great. But
yeah,
service people are not usually paid very high above minimum wage, if at all. And God knows if they're like working under the table, they're probably paid a little bit less. But they get to keep their tips. So there's a emphasis put on that for you to be nice enough that people consider tipping you, but if you don't tip at all, that's like super rude. Like you are saying, that's something you do when your waiter or waitress is really bad to you somehow.
I don't know. There are some businesses that will like calculate how much tips you should be making and then take that out of your paycheck. So
there's
like, because that's
there's a little bit of scumminess in the tipping culture, but that's just. Yeah. It's a weird thing that's like only in the U.S. Normally you'd think of tipping as like a thing you do only specially, but like you said, it's not explicitly required. But if you aren't tipping, you're saying something about your server, and there may be some concerns if they think they did an okay job and you didn't tip. Always be warned if you're in the U.S.
Like I like tipping as a gift. I don't like tipping as a requirement. And that's where like my big problem.
Yeah, I'm not against the concept. It's just the idea that there's a certain amount of expected is a little annoying. You should just be paid a regular wage, guys, and be okay with that. But
this ain't on the servers. This is on the fucking service industry.
Yeah,
I pay work,
but that's not something we can move and shake in Let's Talk FGO. But like that's a thing though. Like I think it's. Nito and Scheherazade are out, and like Scheherazade doesn't want to tip because she doesn't get it, and then writer Alter pulls a gun, and she's like, "You better fucking tip." Though she's crazy, she's like, "It's 20 to 25%," which, by the way, is not what it usually is.
No, it's like usually like I think like low is like usually like 10 to 15.
Yeah, it's 10 to 15 normally. We are talking about FGO voice. Fuck you very much. Also, last tip. Apparently this story involves several American fanbase references. Excuse me. Ibaraki is called Banana a couple of times, which is not common over there. And Blackbeard basically calls John Alter Jolter, which is not nearly as popular in Japan. They do a pun, which basically means like evil Jean or something like that.
Wouldn't it be
as
like
opposed to
Wajan?
Yeah.
Bad John? I don't know.
Something like that. They do like a pun that doesn't translate, but literally the characters would say Jolter or probably just hard J Jolter, which is not nearly as popular in Japan as it is in the States.
Oh, well, maybe this means that they're looking at like, you know, how America, like, well, not America, but how the English version and their memes.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I've noticed, because I'm gonna tangent here slightly, because I picked up Azure Lane recently, and they got a fucking fuck ton of meme references in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fuck ton. And like, I'm gonna be surprised if like that's something that companies are starting to realize and are starting to, like, you know, make moves with, because, you know, memes are funny. Memes get attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're memes.
But yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I also do know that a couple of Japanese blogs have like talked about some of the community and like referenced some stuff that Reddit has done, some Reddit memes, like images and stuff. So that's interesting. I guess I don't think non-English speaking JP players, whether or not they actually live in Japan, I don't think they speak up a lot in some of our online communities. Because there's definitely Japan has its own internet culture, and in some cases, if you think the U.S. internet culture or Western internet culture in general is bad, some parts of Japanese internet culture are way shadier than us.
Yeah, they are.
Like, people talk shit about 4chan, but a lot of the 4chaniest 4chan styling is based on a Japanese board called 2channel. So it's
like, remember,
based on a certain
Japan had the original.
So yeah. All right, let's do new servant details.
Woo!
So let's start with Summer BB. By the way, as of the time we're recording this, the Voice of St. Quartz literally just posted a video talking about Summer BB's mechanics. But so you should check that out. That's a pretty good analysis. I think that we're gonna agree with pretty good. So Summer BB is the new SSR Moon Cancer. She's quick arts buster with an AoE buster NP and a weight of her stats towards HP. Her NP gain is slightly above average, but normally you'll probably find her damage a bit anemic, especially with her NP type. Though she has the special capability with her NP to drop the enemy's charge possibly by 2. There's a guaranteed 1 charge reduction and then an overcharge based starting at 10% chance of a second reduction, which is pretty good. It's a guaranteed charge down, which is not super common, and then a chance for a second. So in terms of stall, it's really effective, but she's got a buster AoE. You're like, but that's damage. And we'll get into that a little too. So her skills kind of turn this around. So she's got self-modification EX, same as normal BB. Anybody who has heard us talk about Jolter or us use Jolter will understand that this is a phenomenal skill on its own, because it's like, gives you all the star weight forever, and gives you 50% critical up. So you're gonna crit, and you're gonna crit hard. And it's very useful, especially because BB does have 2 buster cards. 2 whole Bs. Her second skill has people going to extremes. People are either like, this skill is the most broken and ridiculous skill ever, or this skill means nothing. We tend to land somewhere squarely in the middle. But Golden Pig Chalice, or possibly Golden Pig Grail, maybe, possibly, has a laundry list of effects. It gives a maximum of up to 50% NP charge, up to 3k heal, 1 hit of evade, 20% buster plus, and 50% NP damage plus for 3 turns, but a long cooldown, minimum 7 turns. So, basically, this helps make up for her lower damage, especially if you can get her to spam her NP, which is theoretically possible because she's got a couple arts cards, she's got good NP gain. If you use, like, self-modification, you can get some arts crits, really get some refund going. You can possibly drop her NP a couple of times. You'll do a decent amount of damage. You're talking like 80% total damage steroid. If you don't get it to work out that way, though, you're going to be wasting a lot of the buff time. And the evade and the 3k heal, right, like, that's... You're going to find yourself at odds using, like, mixed utility skills. But it's very powerful, and quite frankly, she really needs the damage up to make her... because if you think to yourself, oh, but isn't that ridiculous? Ask yourself, how much do people actually love using the noble phantasms of people like Amakusa and Dantes for damage? Just ask yourself that question about extra class characters with AoE NPs. They do, but like, until he gets buffed, Amakusa has a tough time clearing hands with his NP because his attack is so low, which at least for terms of damage efficiency, people are like, that's not great, because it isn't.
Suboptimal.
Yes, it is not very efficient use of your time. And then her final skill is just nuts. Like, just in terms of what it does, it's crazy. So first it gives you up to 10 stars per turn for 3 turns, which isn't a big deal. But then it locks the command hand for 3 turns. So, to explain, in case you don't get this clear, and you don't want to look up videos and stuff, the current hand of cards does not change. So you normally get 5 cards a turn, you hit this skill, those 5 cards don't shuffle, even after you use them. This remains in effect until the 3 turns are up, unless you use the shuffle ability of one of the Mystic Codes, or until the servants change. So if you either order change or a servant dies, that'll reshuffle the hand. Or it is a buff that goes on BB, which means if BB is buff cleared, then it'll go away. But otherwise, it lasts for 3 turns, and you get to keep the same cards. So basically, it doesn't do a whole lot for BB on her own. Like, if you were going to be like, Summer BB solos, it wouldn't do anything because you'd have all her cards all the time anyway. A little scratchy. But the versatility of this is crazy. Right? Like, the flexibility will allow a lot of BS combos in the future. Like, just imagine. You've got a Raikou, right? Like, you've popped her star attract. BB's giving you at least 10 stars per turn. Maybe you got like a 20-30 on BB as well for shitloads of stars. You drop like Raikou's NP to generate a lot of stars, and then you just use Raikou's 2 Buster cards every time. Throw in like a quick card maybe on the front of there so you generate a decent number of stars and just keep critting and starring. For 3 turns. It's great. You can double BB to basically never have to unlock your command hand so long as these servants are alive, because it's a 3-turn with a 6-turn cooldown. So basically it will always be up. You can do a lot of crazy stuff with this. But fundamentally, it's still RNG based because you still need to have a good hand to lock in to use it. And like I said, it doesn't make BB herself any more effective, really. It just makes BB really good at comboing with other characters. Very interesting. So her passives are pretty robust. She has a Territory Creation A. She has a special immunity to burn. She has Transcendental Existence B, which means she always does 2 stars per turn, and also that ups her debuff resist. And then Goddess Core A gives her a little bit extra damage and even more debuff resist. So Summer BB is very hard to so like I said, the result is an unusual package which probably doesn't exist wholly in a vacuum, but can basically flip one of the fundamental mechanics of the game for any chosen servant. She is not a must-have, but if you get her, you can do a lot of weird stuff with her. Maybe not optimal stuff, but definitely fun stuff, which is good. It's a fun mechanic that they've added. I hope they do more interesting stuff like it. And also, like we've said constantly, God, for love of all that is good, Delightworks, if you're not going to release more bronze servants, at least release more silvers that use some of these mechanics. Hopefully in the FP, maybe some permanent 5 stars who do it. Like, you'll get your money for waifuism. Summer BB could be awful, and people would be throwing their wallets at the screen because it's BB with the tan, right?
Hey,
so
dark skin girls are a blessing.
Yeah, no. So like, seriously, just stop tying mechanics up to my wallet, please. I just want to play this game fun. So let's move on to Summer Maeve. She has a quick Arts Buster deck also. Much like BB, she is heavily weighted to HP with a subsequently very low attack. In fact, if you accept that Saber Lily effectively has a 3 stars attack, not a 4 stars, like I know she's a 4-star rarity in cost, but her stats are really 3-star-esque, Maeve is basically the lowest attack of a Gold Saber. Her arts hits are low, but her quick and extra hits are high, boosted by writing A, which means her generation stats are fairly even, and because her core NP gain is still pretty average, the fact that she has several hits on her single target arts NP can offer quite a lot of refund. Her overcharge ability for her NP is Nice Shot, which normally is a 10% chance to proc I believe it's a 10% chance to proc a 10% defense down up to 5 times on her target for 3 turns. So that's maximum of 50%, minimum 0%, because maybe it won't trigger and it scales with it. Let's see. This means that on her own, Maeve can kind of build an NP spam going and try to inflict greater damage, or she acts to support her team. Her first skill gives her 20% NP gauge at 10 stars per turn for 3 turns, so stars, NP gauge. Her second skill is a 60% chance to charm all enemies, and then gives them a 20%, up to 20% arts defense down for 3 turns. So a great staller, which can offer support to your team. Her final skill is a charisma variant. It's 20% attack up for the team, and then a 30% crit up for her allies for 3 turns. So very much a support slot type. Her other passive besides her writing, which you mentioned, is a B+ magic resist. So basically, with Maeve, you can either try and spam her NP to do increasing amounts of damage, but that's very RNG based, or you can have her support other arch sabers by debuffing enemies and providing attack enhancers. Her one glaring weakness that I've noticed is that despite her high HP, she doesn't really have any recovery or damage mitigation abilities other than her singular stun. So an enemy NP or a rogue crit will probably take her out because she's still only a 4-star. So be alert for that. But like, she combos perfectly well with like Lancelot Saber or Yagyu, the old man Katana Saber, and of course lots of other arts. And now MHXX is the anti-foreigner, but also sabers. She's another quick arts buster type. Gee, I'm sensing a theme here. Her one quick card is greatly enhanced by writing A. She's even more slightly above average NP gain than BB, and also generates pretty good stars, making her very well rounded because she's got a passive to upper star gen, and like I said, she's got writing A. Her first skill has been called Mecha Suit or Piloting EX or whatever, but it gives her 1 turn of invul every 5 turns. So basically, she is straight up immune to everybody with a 5-turn NP gauge when it's maxed out, and a monstrous straight up 50% attack buff for 1 turn. Not buster up, not like, you know, critical up, just straight up her attack is 50% higher for 1. Managing both defense and offense skills can be rough, but this one's just really good. Her second skill is Detective Intuition. It's about as good as an instinct skill can get. It gives you a big block of stars, and then it lowers her star weight by 100%. So basically, she will never steal the stars unless there's so many of them that it wouldn't have mattered. The spring on my... I'm trying to gesture, so sorry. And then, let's see. Skill number 3 is Justice... is Furthest Justice. Is like the Protection of World's End. The joke is that XX is the Adult Lancer. It gives you 30% NP battery, 1 turn of Pierce Invul, and then a 50% bonus trait damage against threats to humanity. Now, who are threats to humanity? It might surprise you. Currently, there are 3 servants who have it: Abigail, Hokusai, and Mecha Ellie. And then in story, the story boss version of Summer BB has it, but not apparently her regular servant version, and the story boss version of Gorgon does. But also, most importantly, these alien tree bosses from the Lost Belts do, so she definitely has some long-term story effectiveness. It's, for those of you who are still in, like, English, it's like if she had an ability to damage a trait that is on all demon pillars, right? Like, that has long-term story ramifications. Her Noble Phantasm is single-target arts. It does times 1.5 damage to sabers, and then gives her a 20% attack buff with overcharge, so she hits like a ton of bricks. She has class advantage against berserkers and foreigners, and then also pseudo-class advantage against sabers. God help you if you're hitting somebody who she has, like, the trait bonus damage against. She's already got a huge regular attack buff. It's really good. She does a lot of damage. Cosmo Reactor gives her better star gen, like you mentioned. She has a low Transcendental Existence EX, which gives her very little debuff resist, but gives her pocket stars. And then she has an independent action A. So when her star weight is up, and foreigners do have a pretty good star weight, like they're at like 150-ish, so they're like Lancers. No, they're not like Lancers, they're like Archers. Archers are like 150, and Riders are like 200. So she can, without using her second skill, her star weight is normally pretty high, so she will get stars to very useful. Alright, so our next free talk topic is, I picked this one because I just thought about it. So, Summer 2018's fully revealed. It's time to wildly speculate on the next summer already for funs. Because that's always fun.
Yeah, that always sounds like, alright, this is what happened. Let's think about what's going to happen next year.
Because, like, you can kind of see more patterns, right? So, my first bullet point is, because there's a reference in Valentine's, I still think Summer Semiramis is going to be a thing.
I still want it to be a thing. It's fucking Semiramis.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that also, the way she is, that makes her a solid welfare choice. Though I would also like to point out all of the welfares so far have been FGO originals. So maybe not. Like, Jean Alter is an alternate version, but her character, like, appeared first in FGO. That's where she got popular, right? So,
yeah,
she's an FGO original. Skahak is definitely an FGO original. Ishtar's a little fishy. She's like Jean Alter a little bit in that she's an alternate version, but her character is most originally expressed in FGO, right? That's, I think, where she showed up first. So, maybe not on Summer Semiramis, but that doesn't mean that eventually Summer Arash is totally going to happen. Very entirely possible that will be a welfare. And this may be why Summer Kiara didn't show up like as a welfare, because like technically, yeah, she was in some download events and some special banners, but if they're sticking to FGO originals with their welfares, I could see why not.
Yeah.
That said, the trend seems to be that one SSR is drawn by Wada Arko, the artist for the Extra series, and one is drawn by Takeuchi, the original artist for Type Moon, and who did all the FSN original art and designs. So, me personally, I would prefer Summer Drake, but Arko's art doesn't necessarily rule out, like, say, Summer Gawain, Summer Kiara, Summer Liz, etc.
Honestly, I put more money down on Summer Kiara, especially now that we have a Summer BB.
Yeah, no, that could totally be a thing.
Yeah.
They could do it as the reverse, like they could drop her rarity to make her like a 4-star.
Maybe she's not
No.
as evil this time.
As we said, the trend seems to be the SSR is drawn by Wada Arko, so she could also still be a 5-star. We'll see. Like I said though, like doesn't rule out Summer Gawain art. I'm just saying Drake because that's what I want.
Yeah, Summer Gawain has a sprite sheet now, so
and they
who fucking knows?
At least at the time, they have not released any of those costumes, despite the fact that they clearly have all those designs. So
yeah,
they're probably gonna put that in their back pocket because I honestly don't think they would go to all the trouble of creating brand new story sprites for every night of the round and not turn them into something else later, right? Like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oops. God, that makes a lot of noise when I lightly brush my mic arm. I have to be very careful about that. So for Takeuchi, Summer Okita is the safest best, though once again, I would not mind a Summer Medusa. Finally, her swimsuit designs are really good, but Okita is definitely, like, a big best there. And the community would probably explode if Summer Shiki.
I honestly don't know if they, like, I feel like that might be, like, some licensing issues. Honestly, so I don't know if they can just like pull that out of a hat.
I think they can because it's you know, Type Moon originally did all the writing and publishing. They could make an entirely original design for Shiki.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know. I don't think Shiki has a official swimsuit design, right? Like we know that like swimsuit Arturia is like their official design for her. I don't know if they've done that for like Shiki.
Real talk. I can't imagine Shiki in a swimsuit.
I know, that's why I said the community would explode. They would be like, what am I looking at? What is happening? You madmen, I can't take it.
I can't. All I can think is I either think kimono or kimono jacket. Like, those are the only two settings I have for Shiki.
Exactly. Because those are literally her only two settings.
Yeah!
Yeah, so we're just going to throw that out there. And technically, we're still following a rule that there is a SabaFes and there is a Saba, i.e. an Arturia. So we're running out a little on those options. Obviously, MHXX Alter is an obvious answer, especially because MHXX has dialogue for MHX Alter. Like, very adorable dialogue.
Well, I mean, we still have a potential Saber Lily.
That's true.
Summer.
And I would say, though, that we would really appreciate a regular adult, a Lancer-type Arturia variant as a Summer. Just saying.
And like, remember, their Lost Belts is coming out. Like, I think if I'm feeling this timing right, the Camelot, I put that in quotes, chapter's coming out, and who knows, maybe they'll have a Saber Lily altar, which will then open up that potential. Maybe we'll have to see. Because as I said, like I like fantasizing wildly about that. Like maybe like it's a Saber Lily Arturia. I don't know what I keep saying. Arturia Lily Alter would be an assassin and to be like all like espionage, like shit went wrong, you know.
So that is number
they opened up that can of worms. Guess
6.
What?
So yeah, that would be the middle of the year one.
Mm-hmm.
So that would either be just before this or just after it. Because
maybe
let's see,
who
we've
knows,
done
maybe- I don't
1,
know, maybe
2.
we'll-
We're probably gonna get 3 this. We're definitely gonna get at least 3 this year. We might get all the way up to 4. And then there's 5, 6, and 7. And then there's probably gonna be like a finale like there was in part 1. So that's interesting. Now, we mentioned Okita above. That would fulfill the SabaFes rule. And unless the game invents more SabaFes, we're actually out of SabaFes. Other than Okita Alter. Until they
I
invent
guess
more.
Alter would count too, but
Yes.
yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. And then the other observation I had is, like, half the roster is FGO originals, so we have to, if we're gonna make predictions, like, especially because we want you to make predictions in the comments, because we love that stuff, make sure that, like, a lot of your roster needs to be good characters. So my prime list, personally, of FGO originals is, like, Carmilla, Nightingale, Musashi, Penth, actually, and Ketz. That's, like, I figured, like, that'd be a nice top-tier selection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we will say this, given that the designs are different, like, Ushi's swimsuit design is different than how she appeared on a CE, but how Helena appears in the CE in this year is the same as how she appeared the next year. The CE designs might not be a super great guess, but we do have some FG original designs which are not yet used. This includes Carmilla, Nightingale, Dion, Cleo, Wu, Abigail, Musashi, Hokusai, Osakabe Hime, Jinkei, and Chiyome. Also, I added this note later. Apparently, Osakabe Hime says in the event next year with like an exclamation point and like a shaky fist gesture. So, watch the fuck out, everybody. So yeah, Lucky, do you have any thoughts on FGO originals who might make good summers?
I'm trying to think because I have to mentally divide. Like, you guys know me. Like, I'm not like, I love the Fate franchise. I'm not like super intimate with like different stories like Strange Fate. So like, I have to like I gotta make sure it is. And like honestly, like Nightingale and Carmilla are like, I fucking love their CEs, like both.
Yeah, no, their designs are great, and especially if they're not welfares, you could do a lot of interesting things with Ascensions.
I know, like, people are gonna obviously know, like, why I say this, but Summer's...
The reason why I didn't put, like, Summer, like, Sanzo on my prime list is just because her outfit is already basically a bikini. So I'm like, I don't know if they'd leap right into that, but yeah, no, they could definitely do that. That is an original character. She's popular enough. And they're gonna do a Camelot.
It's gonna be that.
But yeah, so, like, if you guys have any thoughts.
Summer, him wearing ridiculous.
So yeah, I think we've about exhausted our bullet points for that topic. Which is okay.
Yeah, so
it was just a quick thing I wanted to throw out.
So I'm gonna say something here real quick because Lucky's the guy who listens to all the anime music, and you know I was recently watching this show called Anna Song Station, and they do a top 10 of music downloads off a particular music streaming site called Mora, and Makamoto Saya-san, the voice actress for Jean, who also did the opening to Lost Belt. Her single, Backlight, or Backlit, depending on how you translate it, which is the opening to Lost Belt, has been #1 for 2 weeks. But I think it's fucking amazing.
Nice.
It's like, oh my god, like, people, like, love the song that much.
That's cool.
I was listening to it earlier, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is amazing.
Editor
I have no
Lucky,
idea what's going on.
absolutely do not put that in here, because while I know Voice won that copyright claim incident, I still don't want to have to deal with that.
Oh, no, I'm probably gonna see if I can, like, get the album cover. Might throw that up there. Like, bam!
That's probably good, but, like, we'll leave the song out. Like,
Yeah,
we respect
no lyrics. Sorry, people.
Sakamoto-san, so we're not trying to, like, pirate your music or anything. It's just...
I love you. Give me your
we know that rights holders are kind of weird sometimes, but it's cool that it's on the top. Everybody go listen to it. I gotta take a deep breath now, because it's time for Prisma Codes, pregame details, the real pregame. The real shit! Alright. So time for more detailed notes, so you make sure you know what you're doing before you go in. If you want a light overview, which talks about a lot of, like, the like, high-level mechanics, what you should expect kind of stuff, go ahead and check out last week's show. This will be a lot more detailed about, like, the mechanics and some strategies and stuff, so nobody is blindsided by anything. So this is an AP raid, and there's no global HPs, in case that wasn't clear from last week. The HP totals are much smaller, but you have to do all the work, so it's not, like, a huge thing, it's just, be aware, there's no, like, time limit or anything. When you get the raid done, you get the raid done and can move on. Booyah! There are 5 main raids, which we roughly outlined last week, and there are 5 extra raids they unlock after about a week. Each raid boss, not the raid entirely, but each raid boss has a weakness to Arts or Buster inherently. Quick can get fucked, I guess. It's probably because they didn't have a good green character. to be on theme for Prisma. Now this is on the boss, this is not on their ads, but it's very useful. The CEs, which you get from the store and the missions, give 50% attack and arts or buster up to the equipped servant as well, so plan damage accordingly. That's plus 100% at max limit break. Also, we talked about last week what servants get get an inherent damage bonus. It's mostly just the servants who are on the banner, and then to unlock higher HP runs, which are called thresholds, you need to complete the lower missions for higher HP totals. They're basically mission unlocks, so you run the mission, you do X number of damage to the boss, you'll complete a mission, you'll unlock a higher threshold of HP. Everybody got that? Okay. Let's move on. Our 5 main raids are, and I'm going to list the classes too, because sometimes they switch up on you, because they're bastards. So first boss is Nursery Rhyme Caster. She is weak to Buster. Her ad is a Demon Pillar, so watch out for that shit. And she comes in 50, 60, and 75k thresholds. You may notice that for people familiar with raids, that's very small. The raids are a lot easier. Next up is Medea Lily Caster. She's weak to arts. Her ads are Dragonfang Warriors. She has 100, 150, and 180k thresholds, and her final threshold difficulty heals 15k HP per turn automatically. So make sure to keep your attrition up. Or just figure out a way to do 180k in one turn. You can probably do that with all these damage bonus. Next up is Helena Caster. She's weak to Buster. Her ads are Grimoires. She comes at 180, 220, 300, and 360k threshold. Maeve is a boss. She is not a writer. She is an Avenger. And she is weak to arts. Her ad is Mini-Kuchan. And she has 240, 300, 360, and 400k thresholds. So, Avenger Maeve is kind of a weird thing. Like, normally you'd, because she's weak to arts, you'd throw, like, Shiki at her, because Shiki would be an assassin, but that's not going to work. If they ever rerun this event, BB is going to be, Welfare BB is going to be fucking amazing, because she's a Moon Cancer with an arts focus. But that hasn't happened yet, so... I guess Berserkers and just Hope is kind of your goal here. And then the final boss is called First Lady. It's an alternate version of Chloe, but it's First Lady is the boss name. She is weak to Buster. Her ads are Magical Sticks, which are a type of mob in this game. She has 5 thresholds, which are 200, 240, 300, 380, and 400k thresholds. Her later versions will improve her card performance for a couple of turns, or up her critical damage. Those are the story-related ones, so as you can see, they're not super hard. Like, especially considering we still get all the possible bonus damage, it's very easy to, if you're doing the missions to get all your damage CEs, to, like, set this up so you can take care of it. Alternatively, I assume their damage is relatively lower, too, so you might be able to stall out 50. The EX raids, which unlock after about a week, are almost all males, and they are as follows, and these are, like, bonus raids that appear where the old raids did that you can do. First up is Phantom, who's still an assassin. He's weak to arts. His ads are golems. You'll notice there's a slight uptick in difficulty here. His starting threshold is 350, his second is 450, and his last is 700k. And his highest level randomly charms one of your party members on your first turn. So the EX raids are definitely picking up more to challenging. Blackbeard appears as a berserker now. He is weak to Buster. His ads are wyverns. He has 320, 470, and 710k thresholds. So, not that hard. Just, he's a Buster, he's a Berserker. Find whatever your biggest beat stick is, blow him up. You've got Gills as a caster. He's weak to arts. His ads are books, just random colored tomes. He has 500, 600, 900k thresholds. His highest tier will use his Terror debuff to start. That is his, chance to stun per turn.
Is this actually caster gills, or is this archer gills with just caster flavor?
I'm pretty sure this is explicitly regular caster, hence the Terror debuff. Diarmid is the 4th one. He is still a Lancer. He is weak to Buster. His ads are Reindeer Men, like Christmas, but, Reindeer Men. He's pretty simple. He doesn't have any gimmicks. He's just 480, 590, and 930k HP. But he's weak to Buster. Just pick a Saber, or get Maven here, because she has bonus damage. Kick his ass. And finally, we have Testament Caster, who I believe is a boss version of Ilya.
I think so.
She's weak to arts. Her ads are Magical Sticks also. She has 650, 800, 950, and K, and 1.35 million HP threshold. The highest level starts with full NP charge, turn 1. So, yeah, basically you're going to want to pick your appropriate, either from a female who can get bonus damage off the CEs, or specifically, if you can, one of the servants who have bonus damage inherent to the event. Support Maeve is your friend against all these casters. Like, even if she does bonus damage to males normally, the fact that she's a Buster Rider, and you can give her shitloads of extra bonus damage, she's going to do a lot of work in this. Single target Lancers with Busters are going to do a lot of work against the story boss First Lady. Stuff like that. And honestly, in general, people are probably not going to find these too hard, because like I said, the HP totals are way lower than in like Onigaishima or Rashomon. There's no global timer. You're just doing your own work. It should be pretty easy. Worst comes to worst, just fucking stall. You wait out, 15 turns, which you can probably do in this. Just, find the right resistance. Also, by the way, I'm pretty sure none of these bosses are riders, because you get, at least for all the story ones, for sure, you get a support Ilya at, like, level 60. For the raids, even, so, like, she's always pretty good. Can be very helpful against stuff like the Maeve Avenger. Ilya would do neutral class damage. Actually, no, I'm thinking that's wrong. She's weak to arts. Ilya's NP is Buster. Maybe she'd be good against Blackbeard, because he's a berserker. But there's a couple cases where Ilya's extra damage will be useful. Because she gets 100% event damage also, don't forget. Let's see, what else we got? So a quick note, like, literally everyone in the Discord, when I asked about tips and stuff, was like, don't forget to note this down. To complete all missions, because it's a 100 missions type event, as we've said a couple times, you need to ascend Chloe, I believe, 3 times, so don't forget to stockpile EXPs, or you have to use the store ones. To get her ascension materials, those are also missions. You're basically going to want to beat up skeletons, servants, and just do your missions in general. There's only 1 copy of the CEs in the store, pretty sure we said that earlier. And to get them, the rest of them, you want to clear missions in general, defeat mobs and servants. Not a big deal. Honestly, it should be pretty fun and interesting, because there's, like, farming some nodes, and then there's, like, raid nodes and stuff like that. It should be a fairly interesting combo of mechanics. Lucky, do you think you have any questions about Prisma Codes before it starts that you'd think you'd want us to handle?
Like, are there still going to be, like, CE drops?
I believe they can
just,
possibly drop. Also, that's usually how that works, but
I
you
don't
don't
never
have
had
to
really
get a
good
drop.
luck with. Okay. So we're not gonna just like get 4, and then you're just gonna be staring at that last open slot like. Fuck.
There are 4 in the missions, and then 1 copy in each store.
All right, that's good.
There are also obviously event drops. There's currency because there's a shop, but
oh yeah, well it's locked to the gacha.
Mhm.
So it comes out like 8/23, right?
Yes. So you got a little bit of time.
I'm gonna cut out, so I have no idea what he said.
I said yes. It is in fact 23.
Yeah, my birthday event.
All right. Well, in that case, let's see. We're at about an hour 10. We don't technically have to do Teach Me Omega Sensei today. What do you think? I've done a lot of talking today.
Yeah.
Should we push on for one more topic, or do you think we should just cut the show here? Give Editor Lucky a break.
Well, let's see. What are we gonna be talking about next week? It's gonna be the weekend of the 25th.
So, summer won't be over, I don't think, in Japan, and Prisma. We'll be doing Prisma First Impressions, and that's about it, as far as I know.
Let's save Teach Me Omega Sensei just so we can like flesh out next week.
And hey, maybe we can, because we've had Voice on for a couple topics like this. Maybe we can book a guest appearance by Voice on the show for reals, not just talking into his shitty laptop mic.
Up with a shitty mic.
Maybe we'll see if he wants to come on next week and we can talk about that. So yeah, by the way, if you're interested in like, probably next week once the event is out, we'll do a breakdown, a somewhat breakdown of Chloe. If you want a really good breakdown, check out that collab we did with Voice, because we talk about all welfare servants in it. So that's great. And if you want to know more about Ilya specifically, go ahead and check out our Wanted episode, but you probably already have, because that episode has fucking blown up. It is at like over 700 views. It is by far, I think, the most viewed Wanted ever.
That's what you get for
Actually,
like releasing
no,
content on a timely basis.
Oz might also be super high too. I don't know. It's very
I don't think you
interesting.
talk about
Ilya and
Medea Lily.
Ozymandias are definitely our top 2 wanted.
I don't know. Did we do Medea Lily? So you didn't get that 5-star?
No, we haven't. We could do that when the banner comes out. We could
Because
talk about Medea Lily.
Yeah.
We also probably don't think we directly talked about Helena. Though also to speak of Voice is a great episode talking about the mechanics of Helena. We could talk about a couple of the servants on the banner. Hey, let us know in the comments down below if you want to talk about those servants who are technically not new, but who we may not have talked about in some of our new. But yeah, so that's yeah, that's fair.
So
We've done
we're gonna
decently on the
skip. Yeah. So we're gonna skip Teach Me Omega Sensei and our CE and Servant Spotlight. And we're also not going to do story time because we're going to save that for a rainy day. Do we have a meme of the week?
Not really. I think we have an anti-meme of the week, which is it has been expressed by our Discord that they do not like FBI jokes, and so I think we're going to refrain from making any police jokes during the events. Which honestly I can totally see. That's totally overused. I thought about like putting police sirens in the wanted video, but I decided not to because I felt that might be jarring for audio listeners.
Yeah.
So our anti-meme of the week is we're not planning on making FBI jokes on the show because our Discord's like, nah, we're tired of that already. The event's not even out, people are already tired.
I don't know, man. Sometimes our Discord really likes to stick to one topic over and over.
Anyway,
the meme of the week is I don't like redundancy.
That's fair. And then
all right, now I'm gonna take
feedback. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take that over. And the Twitter contest is over. Like, yeah, you think we forgot about it? No, we didn't. We're gonna go through all the entries and next week announce the winner. And I said I've seen a lot of the entries already, and a couple have made me chuckle. So I'm gonna be all like, yeah, this one and this one. Because remember, there's gonna be 2 winners.
Mm-hmm. There's a first place and a runner-up.
Yep.
Also,
Win
no,
my
by the way,
money.
we weren't kidding when we said we were gonna read this on the air.
Oh yeah. I'm probably gonna like a screenshot my computer, like cut them out so I can just paste them up in the video.
Yeah, that's fair.
Check this shit out. It made me giggle.
And I put the second feedback note. So it's come to our attention that sometimes people don't read the description. Please do actually read the descriptions for the videos if you can. They're full of like useful links and stuff a lot of the time. Also, guys, I put effort into writing those descriptions. Thank you very much. I try to make them funny or at least informative. But yeah, like I said, like not only do we put standard links like, you know, go here to join our Discord, go here to find our Patreon, that kind of stuff, like just technical stuff, but like if we talk about a certain web page or something, we will put a link to it in the description of the video. We will put like links to host stuff. Our friend codes are both in the description, though we might have to take those out because I don't know about you, but I'm back to being full up on friends.
I have 1 slot. I always keep 1 slot of them because I just want to see how many friend requests I can get. I don't add anybody, but I'm a dick like that, so...
Yeah, so, but that's in the description. Also our Twitter handles if you want to follow us. And just, yeah, it's full of useful information. Please actually look at it.
Yeah. I would love to do a thing where we can just, like, paste it, like, in the video, but we can't do that anymore. It's YouTube. You're a dick.
Yeah, the old-style annotations where you could link anything in a video are gone now. So we can only insert cards to, like, YouTube videos.
The good old days. Let me go get my cane. YouTube used to be.
Back in Old Man Lucky's day. I think we got anything else to talk about. We already described what will happen next time on Let's Talk Fake Grand Order. We'll do a first impressions of the Prisma event, because, let's see, yeah. The event will have been out for a couple days.
It's been out for like 2 or like a couple days, so yeah, it'll definitely be fresh on the mind.
Yeah, we'll have first impressions. If they happen to announce whatever's next in Japan, which they might. How long is left in the actual event? Nah, they might, but it's like they got like 10 days left, so probably not.
The banner's going for a while, so...
Yes. No, the event is still going on until like... it says, I tried to just check the Grand Order Wiki, it says that there's 10 days left in the event itself, so yeah, no. Summer events are long, guys, and, like we said, people like to talk about the quote-unquote better experience communicating with, like, JP over NA. That's not always true. Japan is notorious for, like, dropping events with no fanfare. At the very least, because we have these social media campaigns in the US version, in the generically English version, there's usually a little bit of lead up.
Oh yeah, like they did with the Gouda Gouda, one of the Gouda Goudas. They literally just dropped it like no one knew it was coming. Boom.
They had a stream to hype it up, and then they were like, by the way, when the stream ends, we're doing maintenance. The event starts in like 3 hours. And people were like, wait, what?
Oh,
we
shit.
have no time to prepare?
Rip.
So yeah, no, like,
good.
people, I think, take that kind of, that we have usually a couple days of lead time for granted a little bit because we already have clairvoyance. But yeah, no, like, Japan can be really bad about just dropping shit on people. I was actually shocked when they teased Summer at the 3rd year anniversary, like with just like some Noble Phantasm videos and designs and stuff. I was like, whoa, they're actually giving you surprisingly a lot of warning for this concept. Yeah, I would. Well, for us in English, there's gonna be Prisma obviously will occur between between Summer and NeroFest, so probably there'll be one more event in between. It might be a rerun. It might be a new event. We'll see. I know lots of people are really hoping their Fate Zero should be the next collab they rerun. They finally ran Kar no Kyokai. They should get around to doing Fate Zero. Everybody hope. Everybody hope, because that'll be another Iskander raid up, and maybe they'll add more shit. Black Grail, please. Okay. Well, I think that's about the time to wrap down the episode. So we can go ahead and put this baby to bed. Remember to like this video if you liked it. You talking to me, Lucky? I'm trying to do the outro. You're talking to me?
No.
Okay. We'll keep going then. If you have any comments about anything, like, especially the stuff we explicitly asked you to comment about, leave those in the comment section down below. We love comments. We get a decent amount of them. We still have time to read them all. You can also get a hold of us on our Discord. That is a great way to talk to us throughout the week, and also you can talk to lots of other people too. We have a robust community. Our mods and our community members are usually pretty helpful if you got anything to talk about. And of course, if you are new here and have not already, please subscribe. Best way to keep track of our content. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications, even if you are already subscribed, so you always know when we post a video, because for a little bit, we'll probably have a slightly irregular posting schedule while Lucky gets used to editing and doing that super fast, because obviously that's a skill that you have to improve. Once he gets a rhythm, I'm sure it'll be very speedy.
Eventually.
Though, like we always said, rendering is like a hard stop for us right now. It takes how long it takes. Yeah. You can also support us on Patreon. That means you get access to episodes early. Like I said, you can get the content of the episode super early in audio format if you support us. And there's still incentive to watch the video version because of the enhancements. And lots of other stuff. It's really great. Don't forget to also check out our merch, because that's a whole thing. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys in the next show. We are not magical girls, and we're signing off.
Magical girl time is done. I'm gonna go steal pizza and filch alcohol.